Yeah. So on our first day of trekking, we were supposed to hike from Karchi village to the Akrogata, base first camp. So Karchi is a village in the middle of multiple villages. So we will have a transport from which will take us from Tapoban to Karchi village. So from there we have to start climbing to the camp. So Akrot means walnut. So here in this base camp there is only one Akrot plant tree. So that is the reason they have named that as a Akrot Gatta, base camp. So it is a from Karchi village it is a constant steep you know mountains where we have to start climbing, and for the first time at such an higher altitude and with the backpack it was not easy. So before even we started with the trekking, we were made to do warm-ups and relax our muscles so that we are not ending up having cramps or anything like that. So once we started realizing the oxygen saturation's values, because the steep was really taking all the effort that we needed to climb up, and yes, not to ignore the backpacks. So once we were climbing up, we were constantly getting the breathless feeling, so we had to really pause in between and start climbing. And thanks to the team which was leading us, they gave us enough breaks in between every stretch, so that, and not to make us bored, they also had lot of wisdom and lot of stories for us to understand the mountains and the plants and trees around us. So all thanks to Dinesh ji, who was our wisdom guide, who would give us more knowledge about the trees around us and the mountains around us, which gave a huge wisdom to take away with all of us. So it was a stretch of around 3 kilometers, which took us around 3 to 4 hours to climb up, and we were constantly instructed to walk in a zigzag pattern so that it is less strenuous on your heart and it's more easy for us to sustain through our oxygen levels as well. So once we reached Akrot Gatta, we were we were allotted a tent where we were supposed to change to our sleeping car, where we were provided with the hot food and we were made to relax there. So yes, it was one step. So Akrot Gatta is at 9,000 plus feet. So every day it was made sure that we are climbing only 2,000 feet higher in altitude. So beyond that, I don't know if we were really prepared enough to climb at one go, and we are not getting enough time to acclimatize if we are pushing ourselves too hard. So it was easy to moderate track. I'm sure we had our own struggles to even sustain at every altitude that we were crossing. So at Akrot Gatta we got 124 almost 12 hours to acclimatize to that new altitude, and there was some snow. Otherwise we were all capturing the snow on the mountains and all the golden hue after sunlight hitting the mountains. So having said that, we relaxed in the Akrot Gatta the whole night, and yes, sleeping in the sleeping bags is something more of a challenge, because getting into that sleeping bag and getting out of the sleeping bag itself is a huge task by itself, especially at such an higher altitude. And those who have all used it will really understand what I'm talking about. We sustained through one night, and I need to mention that the day we started our trekking was a full moon day. So the moons on the mountains is such a beautiful, experience by itself. And looking at those clear skies and the moonlight, and of course the stars, beautiful, stars all around you, and the snow below you is a experience that you have to really cherish and feel it once in a lifetime. So we had a beautiful sky gazing experience because we can hardly sleep in the mountains. So at 3 we would all be up, and then looking at the stars and moon, and we would be waiting for the sun so that we can start doing our routine, because in that weather touching the water is a nightmare. And I would love to share one of my experience where I touched the cold water at 5:30 in the morning, and I just froze my hand, and it literally took me 30 minutes to get my hands back to action. Because you see, it is not only that you have numbness, along with the numbness you also have a pain in your fingers, which is very difficult to explain. And you will literally feel like screaming with the pain till you start getting back your circulation. So I was really thinking of the people who had to go through this frostbite during the their trekking experiences. It is a difficult experience by itself to really sustain through the low temperatures and poor blood supply at the same time. So I had to literally go back to my tent and keep tapping my fingers till the circulation and the numbness goes away. So yes, that's the one learning that I learned, not to do anything till the sun is out. Okay, so or I was constantly waiting for the hot water so that I can brush my teeth or wash my face. So that's when I started also layering up well by using gloves till the sun is out. So that is for the first day.